Hi, Michael. I just wanted to make a quick video of your apartment complex and your questions or things you're trying to figure out about the floor elevations. Um, I've got it open at X14 here, and I've brought in some of my default sets just to help me work with this and point out some things. I hope my voice is coming through loud enough on the recording. Oh, we'll just go ahead. So somebody else in the comments mentioned on your upper floor you had a terrace, and that you should set it as a balcony. And I've gone ahead and done that already, and I've set the floor to be the same as the inside floor areas on this floor. We've got some issues here. There isn't a consistent floor level and ceiling level on the floor below this room. So that's kind of a red flag. I want to look at that and see what is going on there. Because under that is only living space. There's no elevators. There's no open below that might have inconsistent floor levels. So these all should be the same. So I have, these are just my layer sets and default sets. One that I use that's very powerful is this rooms, and on my setup it would only show well, I'll show you what it would show. This is what it would actually look like, but you have a bunch of different layer assignments and stuff like that, so I didn't want to go out and cleaning that up, so I just recreated what I typically do. So I'm showing the bare minimum here: walls, doors, windows. And the purpose of this plan is just to be very clearly able to see what my room assignments are. I would include invisible walls that define spaces like you have here in the stairwell, open below. What's this here? Entry. I just want to, that just made me wonder about something too. So this is a landing. What's going on here? Oh, okay. So that's the lower landing. You come up here. That's the upper landing. You go up there. Right. So this should be, nope. That's not how that should look. Turn that off for a sec. What are we doing here? So floor level 244 3/4. Is this? Yeah, that's your. So this is an upper landing, is it? No. Okay. Okay. I don't think your stairwells, that the way you're designing them, are in very good practice. They're not at least not how I do them, and they could be they could be causing some problems. First of all, I wouldn't define this landing between these two flights of stairs as a floor. I would just use the landing tool. Secondly, I would never have a landing on a floor be lower than that floor's default level. So if we go down to, let's see, so all the way down to your parking level, you have a flight of stairs go up, and then this is, I'm just going to pull up the floor overview here. So on this level you only have the first flight of stairs. Then you have drawn on the first floor, once it loads here, you have the lowered landing on this floor, and then the first flight that goes up to the second floor. I would do it differently. This landing here, going back to the plan, you should be doing on each floor. I would recommend using the landing tool. Like so. If you want to have a separate room for the landing, it should be higher. The landing that you put on each floor should be higher than the actual floor defaults, if that makes sense. So each floor should have both flights that go up from that floor level, not the lower flight coming in. So we'll break that. And then that also helps with your break lines. So we can break your staircase like this. Right? So here, yeah, I'm just gonna do some messing around. So, oh, that's your door coming in. Is that lower than your default level? Yeah. Floor minus 61 3/4. Floor 0. Huh. Yeah, I think I can kind of see why you did it that way. But I would... How would I do this? Let me think about this for a sec. Up, up. No. Yeah, if this landing is lower than the floor level here. Yeah, because this is your default floor level. 0. Your landing is lower. 61 inches. Okay, I think I'm getting a better understanding of what you're doing here. Nothing. So just to have it better represented graphically, I'm going to do this break line. Nothing. Okay. And on this floor, it's probably just going to show normal, because there's really nothing under it that we need to show. Let's get rid of that because we're just sticking with what you did. Okay, well, this starts visually. This is starting to make more sense to me. I can better understand what you're doing here. So, okay, so that just goes up the rest of the way. Now, the reason, with the exception of your entry landing here, the reason I want to use the landing tool instead of the floor tool is that you have less room definitions that can go wrong. So this, we're going to go back to my room, which is this one here I've set up. These two would be one room definition, open below, and there's less, because Chief sometimes, especially if you have a lot of room definitions and some variations between floors, Chief can kind of lose track of things, and it can really mess up your plan. And the less spaces you have for that to happen in, the better. So these two should be open below. This is your landing is an actual floor. I think that's best. Again, I would prefer that both flights between level 1 and level 2 be on the plan for level 1, but I think if I did this plan, I would do it the same way you did, because we have this lowered landing. Okay. So that's, we'll just leave that for now, and I guess you got the same thing going on here. So back to what I was going to originally show you before I got sidetracked on that. Where are we here? So yeah, on this terrace, we're showing that there's various ceiling and floor heights on the room below. That tells us we got to investigate what's going on here. So just with this simplified view that's easier to read and to work with, I'm going to use the select all objects with matching properties. I'm going to search by elevation and select ceiling and floor. And I'm also going to add floor structure, just because it's important to know that these are all consistent. So already we got some problems here. All these rooms that aren't highlighted, there's something different about them. And I'm just going to restart this. I want to see if it's, I want to just check the floor structure first. Floor structure. Okay. Okay, right. So we got something going on with floor structures here. I don't know if 12 and 5/8. What do we got here? Okay. I'm assuming this is a cast in place concrete floor. Yeah, okay. So why is that floor structure different? Let me just do it again. Floor structure. Yeah, see, I'm just going to change my highlight color so it's easier to read. Floor. Yeah, so balconies are typically going to have a different structure, but these 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, this is a room in here too, all have different floor structures. I would find a way to eliminate that room if you can. I would maybe... See, now we're getting negative ceiling heights here. Something is... Yeah, this... Ooh, there's some really baggy stuff. I'm going to take this one, and I think I'd recommend doing that and just say no room definition. Just because, again, like I said, it's one less space for Chief to mess up on you. So that's good. Let's do this again. Floor structure. Yeah. Why are these included? Because they should be open below. Okay. Why are these excluded then? Okay, we got some really... I think it's maybe because you have the default deselected. Okay, that could be it. On those rooms, let's grab... I think one of these had it deselect. Okay. Floor structure. Yeah, so these all have the default deselected. So I think you might want to keep that there. I don't know if it'll make much of a difference, but if it's not changed from the default, it should be selected as default. Because then if you change your defaults for some reason, you don't have rooms that are missing that. Now these still don't. Why aren't these included? They have the same floor structure. 12 and 5/8. It's taking everything right from the defaults. Framing I-joist. What? For some reason, that one also got changed, or it was the same before. Floor structure. Floor structure. Okay. I'm just going to look at your default here. This is floor 3. So is this an I-joist floor? Because 12 and 5/8, that's an 11 7/8 floor joist plus 3/4 inch sheathing. But you have just one layer of 12 and 5/8 concrete, which also seems a really weird dimension for a concrete floor. Like, yeah. Structure framing. Yeah. If this is a concrete floor, then this needs to be selected solid concrete. If it's a wood I-joist floor with sheathing, these layers should be defined as that. I don't know if it'll make a difference. I'm going to assume that you're going with a solid concrete floor. Yeah, I'm just going to do that because I just want that to be consistent. Floor structure. Okay. Still have structure, floor structure, default. Set, yeah, I'll leave that. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So what I'm doing here is basically well, all these now have the same floor structure. Okay. So I hope you understand how valuable it is to have a layer set like this, to be able to go through and troubleshoot all your settings for floor structure, elevation. Some of these problems can track down to the lower floors and they can have a stacking effect. So I might go back down to your bottom floor and have a look. I'm just going to go and look at the elevations here real quick. Did I spell that wrong? Elevations, probably. Why is it not giving me the search value? Elevations. That's why. Ceiling elevation, floor elevation. All right, so we're doing better. We still have these 3 rooms that are out of line. So what I'm going to do is this tool allows you to apply the selected properties to the other rooms. So I'm just going to use this tool. We're going to fill the electrical, this storage. and this laundry. And again, these stairwells, they're different elevations, so we're just going to leave those. So that cleans up that floor. So yeah, and your terrace looks right now. We don't have these railing walls diving down into the plan. I'm just going to go down to your basement level, your parking. Let's look at the room defaults again. Oops. Okay. 4-inch floor. Okay. Yeah, you know, on the other floors, I don't even know why you had this selected if you had concrete, but that makes me think that maybe. All right, I'm going to go back on my assumptions, and because of the way you set this up, I'm going to assume that you meant to have a framed floor. Framing eye joist. Yeah. Trying to remember how this works. Is there a general default for floor? Yes, floor ceiling platform. Okay. Yeah, so this is your standard floor ceiling platform. You've set it up as one layer of concrete, but framing eye joist. And the dimensions you gave tell me that you're going to do a framed floor. So I'm going to set this up the way it should be. And I don't know how much of an impact this will have on your these problems with the floor, but I think this is good practice, and you'll want to be doing this. So, we're just going to use first stud's fine. It's going to frame this as an eye joist, and this is 11 7/8 inch. So that's our 12 5/8 total thickness here, but we have the 2 layers, and this will show up better in your cross section. And I do believe you'll actually get framing in this as opposed to with the concrete. I'm not exactly sure how Chief would have done that, but I'm going to make this your default. So I'm going to head down here again and just make sure everything's on the up and up. Ceiling, floor above, ceiling is my 12 5/8. That's good. Okay. Now let's look at your room definitions. Floor structure. Okay, that all looks good. Let's look at elevation. Ceiling and floor. Okay, everything's obeying the defaults. These are landings above, so, and same with that one. Okay, that looks good. So I'm starting from the bottom and working my way up, and we're going to head to the main floor here. What are we doing here? Start with floor structure. Okay. These are open below, which is fine. Now we have an elevator here that's not following the rules. What's going on with this? Structure. Is this an elevator here too? What? Not sure what you got going on here. Entry. I want to think those are both elevators, and I'm going to go up here. No. 3. There's just the one elevator. Okay, so that elevator has exits out both sides. And this is what? What is this? Entry. Okay. So your elevator is open below. But these floor, ceiling, 232. What's going on here? Ceiling 232, 0. Floor 232, 1. Yeah, so this, that's why this, is that? Elevations, ceiling, floor. Yeah, it was the elevator that didn't. Oh, and this walk-in closet isn't obeying anything right now. So just work on the elevator. So the ceiling level on this floor is 109 3/8. This elevator for some reason isn't all the way up at 232 1/8. So that's set at, it should be only at the height of that floor. I don't know if you manually set that, but an elevator shaft is in chief should only go within that floor because did I do that right? That's the entry. Yeah, that's the elevator shaft. Yeah, so level 2. So it's open below, and then we have the default heights. Yeah, those are all defaults. Okay. Let's check this again. Ceiling and floor. Whoa, what's going on here? Why is this not obeying now? See what I mean? Yeah, we get some really weird stuff going on. Chief does not make this easy when they make every room define its own floor plan with its own heights. Even though you pin them to a default, you have to be very careful that they stay that way. There's just, I don't like the way they set this up. I really don't. Okay, now our walk-in is giving us some problems here. What's going on here? Our floor just lost. Why do we have a 7-inch floor structure here? What's going on? Is that... It's a walk-in closet. Is that something you did? I don't see the reason for that, so I'm going to change it to... what am I doing here? Yeah, so I'm going to change this to the default. Actually, yeah, I got to do that. And then if you manually change this to 7-inch floor, it looks like you kept the floor bottom locked, and that's how this floor became lowered. If there was a reason for you to do that, let me know. There might have been a better way to accomplish what you were looking for. And then again, this little nib here, it's got its own designation as walk-in. I'm going to take this wall and I'm going to make it no room definition as well. We want it there because that's just a awkward space to have in the closet. It's counted as a closet anyway. They could use it for a void for services if they want. I don't know if that'll go up to another floor, but just again, one less room for Chief to mess up on you. Okay, let's have another look. Elevations, floor, ceiling. I think, yeah, when I removed the definition of a wall, somehow that small room took over, and just the floor height took precedence, which is really weird because it's a smaller room. But I think we got it now. Okay. Good. And the elevator won't have the same elevations because it's an open below room. I mean, everything's set to default, but it's just the way Chief works. Up to the second floor. Same process. Floor structure. We're going to start there. Okay. We have this issue. I think we were on this floor working before, weren't we? Floor structure. Okay. And just to verify that this is following, no. Okay. So all these rooms, you have them not following the default. Unless there was a reason for that, make sure they always follow default. Because again, if your defaults change, they're not going to update. Okay. So these, what's going on with this room? Labels. Just going to get the room labels out of here. Actually, I'm going to leave them on. I'm just going to lock the layer. Elevator. Okay. I find it weird that the elevator on the floor below wasn't showing up in default structures. Or maybe it's, yeah, just because I have to select this. Okay. Yeah. Even though it's open below, we want the floor values to stay consistent, just because that helps keep the room definitions all consistent. And I'm making hand movements saying that as if you can see me. Elevation, ceiling, floor. Okay. So everything looks good here except this elevator. So let's just have a look. The ceiling might have been off a bit. I don't know. Oh no, sorry. I think it's supposed to be like that because it's basically stairwell type place. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. So that's floor 2 done. Floor 3 again. Floor structure. Everything's the same. Now, is it all default? No. Yes. But our elevations look like they're all over the place, including floor below. So let's go through it here. Elevations. Sitting floor. Okay. Right, they're all the same now. Oh, no, that's because it selected some of the open below rooms. That's why they were different. So floor above has some inconsistencies we can see. But as you can see, as we're working up, we're ironing out all these issues. I don't think this is a kitchen, is it? That kitchen, I don't know what that kitchen label's doing there. Anyway, was that it? Is this floor good? Just double check. Yeah, that's good. And floor structure should all be good too. No, it isn't. Let's get these all default. Okay. You might want to check on these open below rooms as well, or the landing rooms, just to make sure the settings are what you want, whether they're default or whether you have a custom setting, like maybe for a framed landing. Okay. Floor structure. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I don't know what you're doing for this balcony. You might want to set that something different. Although an I-joist is probably fine. I just don't know what your requirements are. So these 3 rooms aren't the same floor structure, but let's make sure that these are all set to default. Okay. Lost my selection. Okay. So then we got walk-in, laundry, and closet here. Now I could just do the same copy attributes over, but I just want to see what's going on with these spaces first. Yeah, so we'll just select default. Okay. Just double check. Floor structure. Okay, that all looks good. I'm ignoring the balconies because, you know, you can take the same practice to them. They probably have a different structure and possibly different elevations, but just that's your second group that you can look at afterwards. What do I want to do? Now I want to check our elevations again. Okay. Everything looks good. Except this isn't showing up on that. I want to double check. This could be problematic. 367 and 1/8. So, yeah, ceiling should be. Yeah, we should set our ceiling to be the default. Even though there's no ceiling over it, it's just good practice. I'm using the trial version, by the way. I don't have X14 yet. Yeah, so everything's looking pretty good. Let's just double check our elevations. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And this, I'm not sure what you call this, mezzanine floor. Yeah, what do you have going on here? Is this your roof? Are you using this as your roof deck? Which, which is fine. I mean, you don't have to use roof planes. So I think that's got her done. So just, yeah. So when you have floors that are all the same structure, but they're not all set to default, that can be problematic. When you don't have the structure set up properly, so you have a 12 and 5/8 concrete, but you're saying I-joists, then you're going to have problems. I'm not sure how that has contributed to your floor levels, if it has at all. And then always when you're doing a structure of this size with so many rooms, beware that even something the size of this little closet here, right, or this little thing, that here. This is now its own room, and it can decide if Chief sort of, you know, interprets something you do weirdly. It can decide that this room has its own platform that's 5 inches higher than the rest. So I would avoid having that there. No room definition. I mean, on your room schedule, you know, this storage is going to include that little bit of space. Doesn't matter. Probably not. So any little pieces like that you can find in the plan, just eliminate them. Make them part of the bigger room. Show the partitions so that the room makes sense and doesn't converge into a point, which is useless. But make sure that this is as clean as possible. And be very careful about, when you're working in rooms, be very careful about not touching any of these unless you have a very good reason to, and as well as your floor structure defaults. Okay, I think I found another problem here. So we're gonna go. Drawing a blank here. We'll go this way. Floors and rooms. We got to go into each individual floor's defaults and make sure they're following what we've set here, because I don't think they all are. Right, so floor 3, because it's not, the default isn't selected to reference that, to reference what we set here in floor ceiling platforms. It's just still showing that. So just a lot of good practice stuff that it'd be good for you to brush up on and make sure, because I tell you, when you have 4 floors, a basement, and a roof that you're using a floor to create, one tiny problem on one room, if it shifts that floor height, if it shifts anything, it creates a stacking problem. Yeah. I got this one right. Yeah. So it creates a stacking problem. So if, say I'm down on this level here and this laundry room somehow ends up with a, I don't know, a 10-foot ceiling. So how does Chief handle that? If the floor level stays the same, it's got to push up into the floor above. What's above here? Okay, so this now becomes 99.5. So it's changed. I think it pushed the ceiling up a bit. Did you see that? I'm going to cancel it. Let's check our ceiling elevations. No, it didn't. Certainly moved our floor up. Elevations. Yeah. So $225. 190. Floor rough ceiling 99.5. So we raised the floor effectively by 11 3/4. 110. Is that what you have as rough ceiling? 110? Well, 354.5. Okay, I'm not quite. The numbers don't seem to be quite adding up for me, but anyway, I'm just going to move on a little bit here. So let's imagine we had, and of course here's another one that you might want to make. No room definition. Where's my... So when you have this room here, say, or one of these rooms, you realize that it's got so many floors, so many different spaces above. Why am I... Reference floor, third floor. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so when you have rooms that don't align from floor to floor, for example, this bedroom, if if we somehow accidentally put this at 120 inches, now that's going to push the floor up on many rooms up here. Let me show you. Floor elevation. Oh, it just did it in the bedroom. I thought it was going to do it in the hallway as well, because this bedroom is partly below the hallway up here. Am I reading this right? Oh, I'm not used to X4. It doesn't follow your reference floor around from the previous room. But I think we can see 1, 2. Yeah, this is the one I want to look at. So let's push this back to default. Yeah, so on the first floor, this bedroom sits partially... Did I get that right? Let me do it differently. Make sure I'm referencing floor 2. How does this work? Okay, I think that's how I want it to work. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to take this large space here and we're going to raise the ceiling to 10 feet. Say that was just an accident. Now, floor elevations. See, that one room has messed up the floor levels of all these rooms because they're stacked above each other. And if somehow the ceilings got changed, then that goes up to the next floor. Another good way of viewing this too is just to pull up the floor overview. This helps you visualize where you might have a room missing. And how do I set this? You have it set that the floors stack on each other, and I typically just show the one floor I'm wanting to look at. I don't remember how to change that. Goodness. Huh. Because what I'm trying to do is just show the one floor like I do here. Because this is useful just to see all the levels across a floor if there's something gone wrong. Can I do it with perspective? Nope. Help me out here. What are we doing? How do I make this only show one floor? Where's the tool I'm looking for? Hang on a sec.